Hello everyone, welcome to this video, welcome to my channel. My name is Brenda Campbell. I'm an artist and a certified Zentangle teacher, and today we are going to be working on a Mindful Monday Zentangle tile project. Mindful Mondays are just an opportunity for you to kind of relax for a moment, take some time for yourself, find yourself in the moment. So in these Mindful Monday videos, I take you through the 8 steps of what I like to call the magical Zentangle method of drawing. It is mindful, it is meditative, it is without doubt relaxing. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Step 1 is gratitude and appreciation. And in this step, we're just going to take a moment or two to take some deep breaths, breathing in and getting straight up, alert as you breathe in, and relaxing as you exhale. Just let everything fall away. One more big breath in. And out. And one final big breath in. And one final relaxing exhale. Now just let your breath fall into its own natural rhythm and just kind of pay attention to your breath. Let all your other thoughts fall away. And if you notice yourself thinking, that's okay. Just pay attention, catch yourself, and then let it go. And now take a moment and think about something that makes you smile, something that makes you happy. And when you have it, just hold on to it and really feel into that. What does that feel like? Happiness, appreciation, gratitude. And try to remember this feeling and bring it into our practice today. If you get to a point where you're just not sure what's going on next, just stop yourself, take a deep breath, and then when you're ready, go ahead and begin drawing once again. So when you're ready, I think we're finished with step 1. If your eyes were closed, go ahead and open them back up. And we're going to pick up our pencils. And we're moving on to step 2. Step 2 are corner dots. So we put 1 dot in each corner, as close or as far away from that corner as you like. Step 3 is a border, which we create by connecting the dots. And step 4 is a string. And today I'm going to keep it super simple. And I am going to draw kind of a curved line, 2 of them coming from the top to the bottom of the tile. And that gives me 3 distinct sections inside my border that I can use for tangles. So we're done with our pencil and we're moving on to step 5, which is the tangles or the patterns. Now I'm going to go ahead and use my Micron 01 pen, and we're going to start in the center section. And in this section, we are going to put the pattern Nepa. I like Nepa, it's a lot of fun. And it begins by drawing a bunch of orbs or circles. I like to vary the size. And I'm kind of making mine pretty big today. Bigger than usual, perhaps. I don't know, I'm just feeling like I'm in a drawing large kind of mood. Maybe we'll do one more here. And one more here. Make it a little one. Okay, so now we've got our circles. The next step in this pattern is to start with one line anywhere you like. I'm going to start here. And as I draw this line from top to bottom, I'm going to kind of wave it around. It's going to go behind some of these orbs and around others. And once I have my initial line, I like to mix it up and do a second line somewhere else that has its own independent curves. So I have two, and I'm going to do one more that's going to come over here on this side. There. Now, this is going to give some interest to this pattern because we're going to aura these lines, and we've got 3 different lines, and so that's where we're going to get our interest. So now I'm just going to go ahead and aura the initial lines that I drew. And then I kind of like to put these curly things back in occasionally as well. So now I'm going to come in between here. Okay, so you see I'm kind of taking some license, if you will, by adding these curly cues and altering the aura line just a little bit. Let's come over here, do this one next. So these are little kind of muka-like shapes that make these curly cues. And I'm going to come back up here, or this third one. And now you kind of see where the interest comes in, because it kind of connects to this row here. So that's going to allow us to do some interesting shading too. Okay, so let's go back to this line. And you can see that I kind of go back and forth from one line to another. And I also turn it upside down and start from the opposite direction occasionally. My line got a little shaky here, but sometimes that adds even more interest, so I am not going to worry about it at all. do it, but I'll do it from this direction. Get at least one more of those. Futz with it too much more, but I will come up here and finish filling in this section. Just kind of can get lost in all of these auras. But that's where you get the Zen flow from. And at this point, I'm really just kind of filling in the rest of the space around all of our orbs. I think I need another line here. Yeah, that will work. Okay, so this is our pattern Nepa. And I've got 3 of these little hook things, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 orbs. And I only point that out to mention that when I'm creating my designs, I always try to pay attention to the rule of thirds, and also to the fact that when you're putting objects in your art, odd numbers are somehow more interesting to look at than even numbers. So if I'd only had 2 hooks, maybe not as interesting as having 3, or only 6 orbs, not as interesting as having 7. Well, at least that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Okay, so now we have 2 other sections. I'm going to put them together into one single section and have another pattern that goes behind this one. And I love my grid patterns, so I'm going to do a grid pattern with the diagonal grid. I'm also going to do pretty large squares, fairly large anyway. Okay, and I'll do the grid lines in the opposite direction. Okay, so I've got all of my grid squares. We are going to draw a 4 square grid on this little bijou tile so I can show you how to draw the fragment that we're going to put into our diagonal squares on our background, in our grid background. Now this pattern is K6. And you start with a triangle on the bottom. And then you turn it around, put another triangle on the opposite side. And now you're going to put next to it like a little fescue shape. Kind of curls up with the curvy side of this triangle. Oh, so I'll do this one next. And then you turn it around and do the same thing. You guessed it. So we're going to have these black dots in the squares, and that's going to give it a little bit of drama, just a little tiny bit of drama. And that's going to be our fragment K6. So we just have to decide where we want. You know what? I can do this like a checkerboard. Let me try that. Okay, so I'm going to start with my triangles here. And then my little. And I'm going to do every other one in this direction, just like when I do Knightsbridge. And you work by going to the tile that touches, or excuse me, the square that touches the corner of the one you just did. And that way you ensure that you get every other one in the right order. Sometimes it's hard to keep track. Okay, and I guess this would be here. Okay, now I'm thinking the opposite ones I'll have come from the other side. Let's turn them around and do the opposites. I'm just not sure how this is going to look, so I'm curious. Okay, so I hope you see what I'm doing here. I'm just kind of creating this meta pattern, this meta pattern from the mini pattern. So the mini pattern is the fragment in each one of these grid squares. And the meta pattern is the big overall pattern that you see. Turn it this way. Well, I did that one wrong, but it's on the edge. This is becoming a little more complicated than I had hoped. Okay, so I'm kind of getting into the groove now. Okay, now I gotta go to the other side and hope I get it right. Although I don't know that it matters as long as I just pick one and go with it. Okay, so it's a little easier to see on this side that the ones I've just filled in have the points, the triangles, and the little fescue shapes going all the same direction. And the open spaces are all the opposites. So now I'm going to turn and come from the other side to fill these in. But remember, there's no mistakes. And if you think this is a little bit too complicated, then you can just draw bales in these spaces. Remember, bales is super simple. We just make those little seed shapes or rice shapes on every one of the lines in the grid. Or you could do floors, and floors would have potentially a little bit of drama in the black diamonds. So don't stress about it. There's no mistakes, and even if you draw the wrong one in the wrong place, don't worry about it. Just move on to the next space, and in the end, it's likely no one will even notice that, to continue to include yourself. Okay, I think I've got everything pretty well filled in. Don't think I've missed any. And that actually looks kind of cool now that it's done. Like I said, it was a little bit crazy at first, but I think I'm good now. So I'm done drawing the patterns, and we've really got two patterns. We've got Nepa in a space in the center, then in the background inside a grid on the diagonal, we have put the Zentangle fragment K6 into that space, and I just altered the way so that it was every other shape in the background. But even if you just did this, it would be fine. So I'm picking up my pencil, and now we're going to go ahead and we are going to shade our Nepa. We're going to start with our Nepa, and we're going to start by adding graphite underneath all of these orbs, and I'm going to put that graphite on underneath it on the right bottom corner. And I'm using quite a bit of graphite here, which I don't know if I'll regret or not. We'll see. Okay, so there's my beginning, and I'm just going to go ahead and begin with by doing the orbs first. If you're not sure what I'm doing here with these orbs, first I'm blending out the shadow underneath it, and then I'm using what's left and on my tortillon and on the paper to kind of go around the perimeter of the pearl or orb, and then just kind of make the shadow a little darker on that same bottom corner so that it's lighter on the opposite side from where we did our shadow. Okay, a few more orbs here to deal with. Okay, so I have taken care of my orbs, or they look a little bit like pearls to me. Just kind of softening out the blending a little bit more. And then the next thing that we're going to shade on Nepa are the little hooks. So I've got my pencil, and let's see, we're going to go ahead, put a little line on underneath the hooks. Okay, so let's go ahead and blend those out next. Okay, one more up here. Okay, so now we've got our little hooks and our orbs. The last thing I'm going to do is add a little bit to the outside perimeter on both sides. And then I'm going to come in here, and where I have lines crossing, I'm going to add some graphite. So we've got these lines there, these lines there. So that looks like about it. Although I always find some as I go. We'll see. And I'm just adding a little bit of graphite, again using what's left on my tortillon to kind of go over some of these curved areas, just to see if I can give them a little bit of dimension. Okay, now I think I'm going to do one last final thing with Nepa, and that is to come back in with my pencil and just to kind of reinforce this shadow on my orbs. Kind of got a little blended out. And we'll do the same thing with our hooks. Okay. Just blend these out, but keep it close to the orb. And close to the hook. Okay, so that is probably more than enough graphite for this particular tangle. But that's okay, I kind of like it. Yeah, I like it. Okay, so I'm getting my pencil back out, and we are going to shade our background with our fragment, our K6 fragment. Now I'm going to start by just reinforcing the border line again with my pencil. So in other words, I'm doing the perimeter of this grid section. And I'm just going to blend that in first. So it's kind of a delicate, I want to say, pattern, an airy, delicate look to it. So I don't really want to put too much graphite in here. And I think I might be safe with just the perimeter. So that's what I'm going to do. Trying to be careful around all that solid black of those little black circles so I don't tear up my paper. And now the last thing I'm going to do is come back in with a little bit more graphite behind my Nepa pattern. I want to make it look like it's really sitting on top of this other fragment pattern. Yeah, I kind of like it. It's simple, but I like it. So the last thing now, we're done with our shading, step 6, and now we're moving on to step 7, which is our initial and signature. And I'm gonna put my little chop, I think I'm gonna put it inside this orb. There. That's kind of cute, I like it. Then I'm gonna flip it over, sign my name, date it if you like. This is Nepa, that's the first pattern we drew, and then fragment K6 from the Zentangle primer. And there we have it. Step 8 is simply to sit back and admire what you've drawn one more time. I kind of like it. I hope you do too. I do hope you drew along with me. And if you did and you post your patterns, then I do hope you will tag me so I can see them. You can just tag me with Brenda Campbell or Angel Whispers Art. Either one will work. I love to go online and see everybody's work. Okay, so I couldn't help myself. I had to do something with this little orb. There, now I'm done. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and a wonderful week ahead. And till next time, be you and be happy.